Okay, here we are in July. We've got a ton of cool games coming out this month. I have been super excited for some of them, so I can't wait to jump into this video with you guys to talk about some of the upcoming games. There are a ton of really cool things. So, kicking it off with the first game, this is the first Descendant. It's a free-to-play third-person cooperative shooter. Most other genres are action and RPG. It has been compared to like the Warframe and Destiny Baby put together. It's very confusing. It's developed by Nexon Games using Unreal Engine 5. So there's a little bit of worrying because Nexon are known for being a little bit shady, but the game is still probably going to be fun. Just make sure you don't buy anything that has a chance to fail, like any RNG type items, and you'll be good to go. Just in case they're being a bit weird with us again. And in this game, you kind of take the role of a descendant, which is like a superpowered character, and you're meant to defend humanity from invading forces from like a different dimension or wherever the hell. So key features here are like high quality graphics, because obviously it's on Unreal Engine 5. The game promises stunning visuals and immersive environments. It does have a co-op focus where you can team up with up to 3 other players to tackle missions and defeat massive bosses, which is super cool because there's also dungeons in the game now, so there's a decent amount of endgame for you to take part in. There are so many unique characters. I don't know off the top of my head how many of these characters there are, but there is a wide range of different characters that have different abilities and combat styles, which of course allow you to vary your gameplay experiences depending on the character you're playing. And of course, some characters work better in certain situations than others, and some play more different roles like tank and healer and damage. So you're going to have a very nice range of different characters. This is where it comes into like the Warframe experience, because obviously you have different frames in that game. They all do different things and you have to craft them. You do have to still craft these characters in the first Descendant as well. So they'll probably do like a timer to craft stuff. But then moving on from there, we have the grappling hook. Now, the grappling hook adds a vertical dimension to combat and exploration. It allows mobility to be super cool and obviously gives you a few more tactical options because you can get on high ground. And it's just overall super fun. I think the first Descendant would actually be a bit more of a lackluster game without the grappling hook because it just has that much of an impact on the game itself. It's a lot of fun, guys. You really are going to enjoy it. Of course, then there's a diverse weapon pool and a lot of customization you can do because your characters have different items they can use and cosmetics, so you can change what your character looks like, you can change the paints, all that type of stuff. You also do have a modding system for your weapons and characters too that will be tailored to their loadouts specifically, and also some general mods. It's exactly the same modding system in Warframe if you've played that, so nothing too different there. The weapons again come with different rarities and you can mod those too, so it's really cool. It's your general looter shooter in that aspect. And I think with a lot of the fact that there's a lot of co-op gameplay here and character progression, and obviously loot acquisition as well, there will be a ton to do in the game, especially at launch since they've delayed it a few times. The first Descendant will be releasing on PC, PS4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S, and of course is a great time for just anyone who wants to play a cooperative RPG shooter since we haven't had a new one for a while. After that, we've got the next game I'm super excited for, and that is Zenless Zone Zero, which is another upcoming free-to-play urban fantasy action role-playing game. And this time it's developed by Hoyoverse, who are the creators of Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. The game is then set in a post-apocalyptic world where there's like these weird disasters known as hollows. They've appeared and they're creating like chaotic dimensions filled with different monsters called the Ethereal. Players will then take on the role of a character known as a proxy, which is a guide who helps others explore and survive the dangerous hollows. Now, obviously, because this is a Hoyo game, it's going to be a gacha game, so there's a diverse list of characters. The game features a wide range of playable characters, and they each have their own backstories, personalities, and fighting styles, and it's just a really cool time. The game then features a urban fantasy theme, which is set around futuristic technology and mystical elements. The game is also based in a city called New Eridu as the main hub, where you'll kind of be exploring the city more, unlike the other open world games they've done in the past, like Genshin Impact. The game is also very action-packed with combat. Players are engaged in fast-paced, real-time combat using a variety of the characters and unique abilities and weapons, where you can kind of like swap in and out of your characters while doing combat. There are really cool combos that you can pull off with your team as well. So the way that team comps are going to work is going to be really cool with that. Then, of course, back to exploration and discovery. We're going to have to explore the hollows where we encounter different challenges, enemies, and we'll, of course, find valuable rewards because that's how progression works in the game. We get materials to level up our weapons, we get materials to level up our characters. Then, of course, we get materials to rank up different parts of our abilities and all sorts of stuff. So there's quite a lot of different types of progression in these games, which is quite nice. There are also roguelike elements too in this game, as the hollows feature procedurally generated environments, ensuring a different experience with each exploration. Zenless Zone Zero is going to be launching on PC, iOS, Android, and PlayStation 5, and it also releases on the 4th of July. I think the game offers a great time for those of you who are seeking for a thrilling action RPG experience with stunning visuals, engaging combat, and captivating storylines with new characters. You're going to have a really good time. Then third on our list here, we have Once Human, which is an open-world post-apocalyptic survival MMO type game, and it's published by NetEase, which is a little bit weird. It might be a little bit pay to win, but that's something we can look into in the future when I do an I Tried video on this channel. The game is then set in a world transformed by like a weird alien substance, which has like mutated a lot of humans into dangerous creatures and warped the environment. You'll take on the role of a metahuman who is a survivor who has gained extraordinary abilities and powers, which is how the game works. You will have a lot of like survival gameplay where you have to manage hunger, thirst, and other survival needs while navigating the world in its dangers. To be honest with you, I think this is probably one of the worst parts of the game. I hate having to manage hunger and thirst, especially in a game like this. I think it'd be more chilled and fun without the survival gameplay, but I know some of you do like that, so it will be a bonus for some of you. Then combat. Players will engage in combat against mutated creatures, other metahumans, and powerful bosses using a variety of weapons and abilities. You'll actually be able to get like these weird little creatures that kind of fit in your backpack that change your powers. And of course, it's a looter shooter again, so you'll find different weapons with different rarities and upgrades. So there's a lot to do in terms of combat and actual loot hunting. Exploration again. The world features a vast open world with diverse environments to explore, each with its own unique challenges, puzzles, and rewards. You'll find these things called like strongholds, which are like areas, like towns, where you'll go in, you'll have to kill like a certain amount of enemies there, find some hidden chests, and then you'll like capture that town. There's really a lot of stuff to do. There's even like these big boss battles in like certain towers that I can't remember the name of, but there's also these giant world events too, which links into the social interaction of the game where you can team up with other players to form alliances, share resources, and and tackle like challenging content together, which is really cool. There's a lot of cool world events, which is why you need to be careful when actually building your base, because you can customize and build your own base where you can have like a little safe haven and place to craft essential supplies. You'll get like a little plot of land that you can just find, stick your stuff down, and start building there. I think this like mechanic does make the game very messy, and can be a bit awful looking if you're in a very populated server. But obviously you want to be in a populated server for all of these boss battles where you're going to need matchmaking or doing it with other players. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I don't really like the base building, but a lot of you do. Then we have Angerfoot, which is a lightning-fast, action-packed first-person shooter. It's developed by Free Lives and published by Devolver Digital, so you know the game's got a lot of potential because Devolver have a great track record of publishing indie games. The game is set in the grimy and chaotic Shit City, where players take on the role of a vigilante who uses their powerful kicks and an arsenal of weapons to unleash mayhem on hordes of enemies. It's a very fast-paced and adrenaline-fueled game where it emphasizes quick reflexes and aggressive combat. Players use literally their feet and firearms to dispatch foes in a stylish and explosive manner. We did mention this before, but the game is set in Shit City, which is a vibrant and chaotic world filled with bizarre characters, colorful environments, and a really cool soundtrack, actually, I'm not going to lie. Then, of course, players can also utilize a variety of weapons from shotguns and SMGs to more unconventional tools like toilets and fish. The trailer actually looks really cool because of the guy taking a shit in Shit City. As players progress, you'll also be able to unlock new abilities, weapons, and sneakers to enhance their kicking prowess and overall combat effectiveness, which is really cool because obviously upgrade systems like that also can add to replayability with certain builds. And the game also does encourage multiple playthroughs with hidden secrets, challenges, and a high score system to keep players engaged. It releases on the 11th of July on PC. Then next we've got Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder. This is developed by Metamorphosis Games and published by Fireshine Games. It's a really cool 2D action adventure game set in a handcrafted steampunk world. It's inspired by those old classic 16 and 32-bit games. It blends platforming, combat, and an engaging narrative. It has a very good storyline where players follow Alethea, I think I might have just butchered the name, but a soldier imbued with mysterious energy as she uncovers secrets and fights for humanity's survival in the steam city of Canaan. She can then utilize a variety of melee combos and range attacks to overcome enemies like clockwork golems and monstrous creatures. The gameplay does look really cool and really fluid, so they've done a really good job with the combat just from what we can see in the trailer. You can, of course, then upgrade your character's skills and equipment to access new areas and tackle tougher challenges, which is fine because it feels like a bit of a Metroidvania, so it will play like that too. The game also features a vibrant steampunk world filled with diverse environments, hidden secrets, and a cast of intriguing characters. You do meet a few of the characters in the trailer, but you can see some of the environments and they look beautiful in the trailers that they've released. Then, impactful choices. You can also make a number of decisions apparently that can shape the character's fate and the narrative outcomes, which is really cool to see that a game like this will actually offer players a different route to go down in terms of the story depending on your own choices. Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder will be available on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, and it will release on the 16th of July. Next, we have a game called Nobody Wants to Die, which is a first-person sci-fi noir detective game developed by Critical Hit Games and published by the team at PlayOn. PlayOn is actually pretty good. They make a lot of decent games. Not the best games, but not the worst games either. They're very awesome people. We've had a great opportunity to work with them in the past on this channel and on the Realm Space one. And this game is set in a dystopian New York City in the year 2329, where immortality is actually possible, and the game follows Detective James Kara as he investigates a series of murders targeting the city's elite. Now, of course, the game does give you a captivating narrative experience where you explore the dark side of immortality and the consequences of unchecked technology advancement. The game does also utilize advanced technology to manipulate time, where you can rewind events and analyze crime scenes from different perspectives to uncover clues. With this, of course, the game will also give you multiple endings because your choices throughout the investigation will determine the outcome of the story, leading you to get different endings, which adds a lot of replayability. The game is also actually powered by Unreal Engine 5 and, of course, will then feature stunning visuals and immersive environments, which is very fair to say that that is the case. You will interact with a cast of complex characters, each with their own motivations and secrets, which you can uncover through the story of the game. Nobody Wants to Die will release on the 17th of July, and it will release on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5 later down the line. Next, we got one of the biggest games this month, and that is Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, which is an upcoming action RPG developed by A44 Games and published by Kepler Interactive. It's set in a very unique fantasy world where gunpowder and magic collide. The game also follows Nor Vanek, I probably said that name wrong too, a member of the Coalition Army, and her mysterious fox-like companion Enki, as they embark on a quest for vengeance against the gods. Some of the features here you'll find out is that the gameplay is actually very challenging but rewarding because combat requires precision and timing with a focus on weaving together melee, gunpowder, and magic abilities. You do have a unique companionship in this game too between Nor and Enki, which plays a central role in the story and gameplay, as Enki gives magical abilities enhancing Nor's combat and traversal capabilities, which we've seen in the trailer. The game also does feature a very nice open world exploration experience, where it's a diverse world filled with secrets to discover, challenges to overcome, and powerful enemies to defeat. There is also a very nice progression system which allows you to customize Nor's skills and abilities to suit their playstyle. In the trailer, we do see a ton of cool weapons too, so you'll be able to progress with your character by unlocking new weapons and trying new things out. The game is also powered by Unreal Engine 5 and features a lot of very nice looking environments because of this, including a lot of detail in the player models. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is going to be releasing on July 18th, and it will be on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and will be a great time for those of you looking for an action RPG to play. And next we've got Bow Path of the Teal Lotus, which is a 2.5D side-scrolling action platformer developed by the team at Squid Shock Studios and published by Humble Games, which are the people who do Humble Bundle, just in case you recognize the name but didn't know. It's inspired by Japanese folklore. The game also features a hand-drawn art style and fluid combat mechanics. I absolutely love these games where the hand-drawn art style And Bow Path of the Teal Lotus being 2.5D, for those who don't know, means it's a mix between a 2D side-scroller and a 3D game. Here you're going to control Bow, a celestial blossom who wields a magical staff and earring to traverse a mysterious world filled with yokai and spirits. The interconnected world will then encourage exploration with secrets to uncover and abilities to unlock. Here you'll discover a diverse world filled with Japanese-inspired locals, from haunted castles to bustling cities. You'll be able to engage in acrobatic aerial combat using Bow's staff and earrings to defeat enemies and powerful bosses, which will also then allow you to unlock new skills and mystical powers to enhance Bow's combat prowess and access new areas while playing through the story. You'll actually unravel the mysteries of Bow's origin and the world around them through the engaging storytelling and interactions with a colourful cast of characters. The one thing I've noticed with this game is that it is actually visually stunning, especially with the hand-drawn animation and soundtrack, which is inspired by Japanese folklore. I think that Bow Path of the Teal Lotus will be a great little indie game for a lot of you to play, and it will be releasing on PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S on the 18th of July. We have another little indie game, which I think is called Schim. I might have said that wrong too, but it's spelled S-C-H-I-M. It's a unique 3D platformer developed by Extra Nice and published by Playism. In the game, you'll then play as this weird little shadow creature who has become separated from its human, which is kind of sad. Your goal is to then jump from shadow to shadow, navigating a vibrant and dynamic city to return to your human. Here, the game revolves around a weird jumping mechanic, which is like literally jumping between shadow to shadow, so you've got to time things and be very precise in doing so. You'll then explore a colourful and stylized world filled with interesting characters and environments. The shadows also shift and change with the time of day and weather, creating a dynamic and evolving world. The game then also does come with multiple accessibility options, including adjustable difficulty and controls, which will then allow you to have a more calming and meditative experience with a focus on exploration and discovery if that's what you want. Schim will release on the 18th of July and will be available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Then next we got Kunitsu-Gami, Path of the Goddess, which is an upcoming action strategy game developed and published by Capcom. This one is set in a world inspired by Japanese mythology. The game will feature a unique blend of action, combat, and strategy gameplay, which I think is a little bit weird. I'm not too into my strategy gameplay, and I thought the game looked really cool with the action combat, but the strategy gameplay just for me just puts me off. Players will then take on the role of a spirit stone maiden, guiding her for a series of battles against hordes of demonic creatures. The game combines fast-paced action combat with strategic elements requiring players to balance offensive and defensive tactics. There is a day and night cycle, which then divides the gameplay into two distinct phases, which are daytime, where players purify villages and prepare for the night, and then in nighttime, where they defend the maiden against waves of enemies. There is then a spirit stone mechanic, where players will utilize spirit stones to enhance your abilities, summon allies, and unleash powerful attacks. The game then does draw inspiration from Japanese folklore featuring mythical creatures, deities, and environments. This was actually developed by using Capcom's RE engine, so the game does look very pretty and has a lot of quality in the graphics. The game will release on the 19th of July and will be released on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. Then we have Reynatis, which is developed by Nippon Ichi Software and published by NIS America. It's an action RPG set in a modern-day Shibuya, Tokyo, where magic and reality entwine, where the game will follow two protagonists with contrasting perspectives. The first character is Sari, which is a young officer who seeks to control magic and restore order, believing it to be dangerous and disruptive. The second character is Marin, who is a wizard who strives for freedom and liberation from the oppression faced by those with magical abilities. Their paths cross in Shibuya, a vibrant cultural hub where different ideals clash. The story will then unfold as they navigate a world where magic is feared and those who wield it are marginalized. Players will engage in a fast-paced, action-packed combat against monsters and other adversaries, utilizing a variety of magical abilities and weapons. The game will feature a modern fantasy setting, which I think is very nice because it gives us more of a urban life and magical element set Shibuya in Japan, which is going to be really cool. Of course, the game also offers dual protagonists, which is really good because it lets you experience a story from two distinct viewpoints, each with their own motivations and beliefs if done correctly in the story. Then, of course, we'll engage in thrilling battles against various foes, where we get to use an array of magical skills and weapons. And, of course, we'll discover the secrets of Shibuya and the hidden world of magic as you progress through the game. Your decisions will actually affect the story, as it will shape the narrative and ultimately determine the fate of the characters. Reynatis is meant to launch on the 25th of July and will be releasing on PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. Then for the next game, we've got Meifumado, and this is by Old Bit Studio. It's a 2D side-scrolling action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic world inspired by Japan once again. Players will then explore a non-linear open world ravaged by war, facing rival factions that want to take control of the island of Yamatai. Key features here are then choice-driven narratives where your decisions will impact the story and the ending, shaping the fate of Yamatai and its inhabitants. There is a very big, diverse combat system where there's a variety of weapons, fighting skills, and magical abilities, which offer diverse combat options, while you explore non-linear levels filled with secrets, challenges, and hidden paths. Of course, the game is then set into another version of Japan, so we get to see a lot of inspiration from Japanese culture and mythology. The game will also feature a lot of RPG elements where there's character progression and customization, which will allow you to tailor your experience to what you want. Meifumado will be launching on the 19th of July and will be released on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Now, there are some upcoming betas that I think you guys need to know about for July as well. The first one is for the game Concord. If you haven't seen this, it's like a first-person shooter that PlayStation have put a lot of money into. If you do know this, you might be interested in knowing about the two betas. First of all, if you've already pre-ordered the game, you will have access to a beta which you can invite 4 of your friends, which is the July 12th to July 14th. If you didn't pre-order it, there is an open beta coming up where everyone can try it out for free. You don't need to spend a single bit of money, and that will be on the 18th to the 21st of July, which is a Thursday to Sunday. Then, for the second beta we have, it's Marvel Rivals, which is just Overwatch but Marvel. It's got a lot of really cool characters. It's got a diverse cast because, you know, Marvel has a lot of really cool characters like Venom, Storm, and Spider-Man and whatnot. And that's going to be launched from the 23rd of July until August 5th. That one is a closed beta, however, so you will need to sign up if you're on console from their website. Or if you go onto Steam, you can click to request access on the 20th of July, but it will only go live on the 23rd of July. And then for the games that are coming out, I actually have a quick list that I've written down here of my highlight of the month, my personal favorites that I'll definitely be trying out on the channel. And the first one is Flintlock Siege of Dawn. It just looks really good. It looks like it has a lot of charm, and it looks like it will be a lot of fun to try out. Then we have the first Descendant. I'm a looter shooter guy. I love Destiny. I love Warframe. So the first Descendant is high up on my list. Then, of course, the last one on my list for top 3 is Zenless Zone Zero, because I absolutely love Genshin Impact. I love Honkai Star Rail. So another Hoyo game is just going to be amazing, especially since it's got an urban fantasy setting. I just think everything about Zenless Zone Zero looks incredible, including the fluid combat. So that's my highlight. So there we go, guys. That's all the cool games I have for you for July. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please subscribe for more of these videos. We'll be testing these games out later in the month to see what they're actually like and if they're worth your time and money. And then I've also got a Discord, which you can find the link in the description of this video. Come and join the Discord. Let's chat about some of these games. Tell me what you're excited for, what you're playing. Let's have a chat. See you in the next video.